the trailer for Marvel's Fantastic Four: First Steps, which hits theaters on Friday, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, and others, introducing supervillain Galactus as well. Third reincarnation of the Fantastic Four on the big screen in the last 20 years. So we're very happy to have the film's director, Matt Shakman, with us this morning to talk more about it. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. This is amazing. I got to start with the obvious, the retro theme. You decided this is what you wanted, right? We're going back to the 60s.
Yeah.
And I understand that you did your research by going back through a lot of old comic books as well.
I did. I'm a huge comic book fan. I'm a big fan of the Fantastic Four. They were created in the 60s in the middle of the space race, and so it just felt right to put them back where they were created, where they belong.
So as a creative type and as a director, how did you go about seeking that vibe, right, to make sure that we have obviously the modern element of going to the movies, but in this classic way?
Well, we talked about Kirby meets Kubrick, as that was our aesthetic. And so it was Jack Kirby, creator of the Fantastic Four, meets Stanley Kubrick, sort of great futurist of the 60s. And so it was combining 2001 with those classic comic books from the early 60s. That was the vibe. One
of the things that's really cool about this, too, you didn't want to do an origin story. You said, we're coming out swinging with this one. But it revolves around family, right?
Yes.
And a lot of times people go to the theater, they go with their family. It's a whole, the whole theater becomes a family environment. So did you have that in mind when you want to kind of share this whole theme?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, family is what this is all about. They were such a bold, radical idea in the 60s. It was the first time anyone had centered a superhero team around a real family. Not a found family like Star Trek or the Avengers, but real family, brother, sister, husband, wife, best friend. And they have all that messiness, all that heart, all that humor of a real family. So this is very much a family movie, and they're relatable. They feel like us, and I think that's part of their appeal.
One of the things, the film's going to be out soon, but obviously critics have already seen it and they love it, which is great to get that early the early talk. Maybe a lot of folks out there saw the trailers, and one of the things that you see is this scene where the press is asking Reed, "Are we going to be okay?" And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps it real, and how much is that important on an emotional level to set that stage?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it has to be real. You have to feel like these are real people, and that was one of the biggest things, is getting this amazing cast. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Evan Moss-Backrack, Joe Quinn. And they're so wonderful as performers, and they created such a lived-in feeling, so much chemistry, so much charisma between them. And part of that is, that you can see yourselves reflected in them.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're going to hear from the cast in just a few minutes. Kev had a chance to catch up with them and get their take. It's funny, I was peeking ahead at some of the things that Kevin was talking about, and Pedro Pascal was like, we had real suits that we were wearing, and they weren't the most comfortable things in the world, but it just shows what you do, I guess, to have that mix of the practical effects that you wanted, plus obviously there's special effects in the film.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many practical effects. I mean, I think one of my favorite days on set was the first day that Julia Garner came to play the Silver Surfer, and she showed up into a giant Times Square set, 500 background artists, all dressed in period clothes, a fantastic car, the Fantastic Four. We put her 30 feet up in the air on a scissor lift, on a surfboard. The only thing that was missing was she wasn't silver, and her voice just boomed out over, telling everyone they were going to die, right? And it was pretty incredible. It was all there, except the fact that she wasn't silver.
But this is amazing, and one of the other things that when Kevin talked to the cast, one of the things he asked them was, what did you use, whether it's fireballs or orbs, or, if your arm is stretching, like what's really and they said you actually had like long arms, right? And you had actual like fire things that you could use as points of reference.
We used a lot of real reference. We had real fire, we had a giant prosthetic, version of the Thing, like a big bodysuit with a full latex mask and all that stuff, and we would film him in his clothes, just as a reference. We did not have anything that stretched, but we would make Pedro run over and do the end of the move, just to kind of have his real hand in there. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
It's pretty amazing. Obviously, it's a labor of love. You've been a part of the industry for a long time now, but when you have a project like this that you've put the last several years of your life into, what's that moment like when you finally get a chance, not just to watch it yourself, right, when you see the final cut, but when you're in that theater for the first time with real fans to get a chance to see it?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I can't wait till Friday. We're actually going to do that, go travel around in LA.
Do that?
Yeah.
Just sneak into theaters?
Well, not just sneak and come say hi, and welcome everyone to the show. We're so proud of it. We've spent so much time working on it. I saw it at the premiere on Monday night with my family, with my wife, with my daughter, who are so important to me and huge inspirations to me for this movie. This movie is so much about family, and you have to draw on your own family experience. And it was great just to sit with them and watch the movie too.
So I have to ask you this: with the four main characters here, we've got four superpowers. Which one is a Matt Shakman desired superpower? Which one would you go with if you had to choose one of them?
I mean, they're all kind of amazing, but I think I'd have to pick Sue's, which is invisibility, because you can get up to a lot of mischief. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would go with the same one.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, you've got huge names in the movie. You've got huge characters. You've got an identity, I guess, that people know about coming in, but you want to put your mark on it creatively. So what was that thought process like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I returned to the comics more than anything. You know, I've been a Fantastic Four fan since I was a kid, so I just returned to decade after decade of comic books that I've loved to draw on inspiration, and also to pull from my own experience as a husband, as a father, and try to make it as personal as I could. You know, when you're dealing with something that's so big, such a big tent pole with so many visual effects and special effects, the more personal, the more specific you can make it, I think the more relatable it is, and I think that hopefully it will feel that way to the people who watch it.
We talk to directors all the time, and admittedly there are some who are like, I made this movie for me. It's very important, right? This is like a passion project. When you make a movie like this, where you want that family through line, is the rewarding part for you just seeing how that resonates with other people?
Definitely. You know, I made it for everybody, but I guess if I had to pick one person, I made it for my daughter, you know. She's actually in it. She has a small little cameo getting saved by Johnny Storm early in the movie. But definitely, you know, the most fantastic day of my life was the day she was born. You know, and this is a movie about journeying into the fantastic, journeying into the unknown. I think having a child and starting that journey is definitely one of those great mysteries of life and one of my fondest memories.
It's a fantastic story and a fantastic anecdote, too. Matt, congratulations.
Thank you.
So good to see you this morning. The movie is out this weekend. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I hope you go enjoy it. And please go see it. It's going to be at all the theaters. I mean, it'll be the #1 movie we're going to be talking about on Monday morning. So thank you, Matt, for coming in today.